This is Selma Schimmel in Washington, D.C. at the Community Cancer Care Advocacy Day Forum, and we are now going to bring you an Advocate in Action feature with Diane Quale, who is the founder and president of BCAN, Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network. I have a few questions. You've sat through the conference or the forum today, and so many topics from palliative care to drug shortage. I will go through these with you because I'm really curious. You're in the trenches with patients all the time. What your impressions of today's forum were, and if it has stimulated a new call for action for you, if anything was said today that gave you a new perspective, or did you learn something, or did you hear something you hadn't really thought of before?
I think I gained a new perspective on it in terms of having a much better understanding of the issues that the community oncologists have on a day-to-day basis. What we tend to do from our advocacy perspective is look at it from the patient's perspective and not have as much of an understanding of how hard it is on a day-to-day basis for the doctors who are caring for the people who have cancer. And just one minor thing I think about, we heard about from the community oncologist what his day is like and all the issues he has to raise. And I spoke with him afterwards and I said, one of the things you didn't talk about, when do you have time to learn? When do you have time to read about new treatments, changes in guidelines? The community oncologists are not just dealing with one particular tumor type. They're dealing with everything that comes in their door. And I think it's a great challenge for them to keep up to date, keep up to speed, because we know they want to give the best possible care to their patients.
What can the numerous organizations that are out there do to make a difference on behalf of community cancer care, where the majority of patients are seen?
I think communication and education. I think that we as advocates, I see our role as advocates is to help give the patients their voice and help teach them how to use it, find the best means for them to use their voice. Because when it comes down to it, this is very personal. And when I meet with physicians and care providers everywhere, I say that this is very personal. My husband died of bladder cancer. That's why I do what I do. And it is all about the patient. So I think if we as advocacy organizations can help educate our constituents as to what the needs are in the community oncology practice, the needs for change, both on the side of what we talked about, insurance and some of the bureaucracy that's involved, some of the improvements that they need to help make their practice more efficient. It needs to come from the patient. Without coming from the voice of the patient, nothing is going to change.
How do you think patient advocacy can play a role in the drug shortage solution?
Oh, I know that firsthand because we've had a shortage in bladder cancer for a biologic known as BCG, which is given, and it's the standard of care for a certain type of bladder cancer. And we had a shortage. I'm bad on time, so I think it was in the summer, where one of the manufacturers had a manufacturing defect, so stopped manufacturing. And all of a sudden, this drug that is used all around the world to treat bladder cancer, you couldn't get it. And there is no alternative. There was nothing else somebody could pull off the shelf and treat these patients. So we got involved. We heard about it first from patients and then heard about it from our doctors. So we got involved directly with the FDA, and they were very open with our involvement as the patient advocacy voice, let them know where we were hearing from patients, where they couldn't get the drugs, where the doctor couldn't get the drugs. So we were able to work closely with FDA, get the information we needed to assure our patients that somebody was doing something about this, working with the doctors to get the information, and also then working with the doctors to get what they knew about alternatives from other companies abroad that the FDA could maybe approve on a short-term basis. And I'm happy to say that through the work of the FDA, and I won't take credit for it, but we were keeping people on their toes. But the shortage has for now been resolved, but we are keeping tabs on it because it was that situation that you thought, how can this happen? How can this happen?
Diane, the area of palliative and hospice care that we
Yes.
talked about, now certainly you have suffered, and I had the privilege of meeting your husband on more than one occasion. If anyone understands the issues of palliative care, it's you.
Yes.
How do you feel about the fact that it's finally really becoming part of the national dialogue when it comes to oncology?
Oh, it so needs to. It so needs to, and it's getting better. I still think we have a long way to go. I actually started as one of the first things I did, even before my husband and I started BCAN, was I was a hospice volunteer because my grandmother had gone through hospice, not for cancer, for heart disease, but I thought it was such an incredibly valuable program that I became a hospice volunteer. So that was my background. I think that from the beginning, when you are diagnosed with cancer, and I think especially if you're diagnosed with metastatic disease, one of the first conversations you should be having with your healthcare team is about supportive care, not end-of-life care. I think too many people think of palliative care, and that means there's no hope for me and I'm going to die. That's not it at all. I think from the very beginning we need to be talking about treating the patient as a whole person, supportive care for pain management, for all the other side effects, so you have a better quality of life while you're going through your treatment. And then the hospice care at the end of life care, it is a gift. It is a gift. That's what I can say. It is a gift. And I think too many people are afraid of it and don't take advantage of it early enough in the process.
Thank you, Diane Quale, founder and president of BCAN, the Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network.
Thank you, Selma.
It's great to see you again.
It's really good to be here. Thank you.